We're just over a month away from the midterm elections, and control of Congress is on the ballot. 538's election forecast shows Democrats are slightly favored to keep control of the Senate, while Republicans are slightly favored to win the House. But there is still time for an October surprise to shake things up. ABC News political director Rick Klein joins me live now for more on that. Rick, inflation and the economy are key issues this election cycle. Are Democrats vulnerable there?
100%, and they're very concerned that the OPEC Plus decision to try to take down production is going to mean a spike in gas prices. This has been something that Democrats have been able to trumpet a bit. But we're hearing it around the country that people are still concerned about high prices, and this is the overwhelming issue. We're seeing it pop up in polls and race after race. Democrats on the run and increasingly concerned about that being a drag.
Now, President Biden announced that he's pardoning all Americans convicted of simple marijuana possession under federal law. That's a policy broadly popular with the American people. Could that impact the midterms?
It's also a policy that many Democrats brought as a campaign promise, including President Biden. We saw the Senate Democratic candidate, John Fetterman, when he met with Biden about a month ago, he said specifically he was only meeting with him to talk to him about marijuana legalization. So this is a big issue in the Democratic base. Whether or not people vote directly on it, clearly the American public has moved on this. And I think for President Biden to deliver on this, in addition to student loans, in addition to the climate bill, you're starting to see the pieces of what Democrats can bring to their base and say, look, we're getting things done for you.
Rick, we've also been following those new developments in the allegations against Georgia Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker. He's denied reports that he paid for a girlfriend to have an abortion years ago. And so far, Republicans have defended him. How do you see this playing out with voters in Georgia?
Yeah, you talked about that October surprise. This is almost the textbook definition. For Herschel Walker, I think there's some complicating factors, including the fact that his own son says he believes the allegations. He is denying them, but some of his previous denials on other issues have not held up. Republicans have no choice at this point but to stick with him. Their hope is that that voters in Georgia have already internalized the various scandals around Walker and don't care. They like him as a star in football, or they like the way he might vote. But it's not clear how voters are going to react. I know the big concern among Georgia Republicans is that some voters in Georgia might vote for Governor Brian Kemp, but might leave that Senate race blank.
Now, we also have this new report now out today that investigators believe, according to sources that the Washington Post is citing, that they have enough to file charges against Hunter Biden, against the president's son. How could that impact the midterms?
Well, what the Department of Justice doesn't like is October surprises. It would be highly unusual for them to file charges that might have political impact on older charges, on something that isn't necessarily pressing this close to an election. The same, we presume, would hold in the various investigations around Donald Trump, including his handling of classified documents. This has been a major touchstone on the right. We saw that former President Trump, a lot of right-wing commentators have long been digging into this story and think it has been undercovered. They want to see justice done in their view. I don't foresee a way that the Justice Department would get into this before the election, but that's why they're called surprises, I suppose.
So, Rick, what other key races are you watching as we enter what is really the home stretch now going into the midterms?
Yeah, keep an eye out west. We just had a debate last night in Arizona. Senator Mark Kelly put some distance between himself and the Biden administration on immigration. We're going to see former President Trump campaign in both Arizona and Nevada over the weekend. And let me tell you, those two states are key to the Senate hopes. They see a map and math that says to the Republicans, wow, we've got a chance to win this thing, even though the tension has been on places like Pennsylvania, on places like Georgia, on places like Florida. If they win just those two seats, those 538 numbers that you see, they reverse themselves really quickly. And all of a sudden, Republicans are heavily favored to take the Senate.
All right, Rick Klein, we appreciate it as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.